Hey guys, MoviePass here. Happy MoviePass Monday. Now, MoviePass CEO Mitch Lowe had a pretty meaty interview with Wired last week that I want to dive into. One important quote that he said is that hundreds of thousands of MoviePass subscribers are misusing their memberships. Now, let's do a quick math lesson here for those of you who don't have your calculators with you. You really don't need it. 200,000 is the minimum when you say hundreds of thousands. It could be 300,000, 400,000, but let's just say hundreds of thousands just means 200,000. That's the bare minimum. The service is 2 million subscribers right now. So what Mitch Lowe is actually saying is that at least 10% of its users are misusing their memberships. And keep in mind that just a couple weeks before that, Mitch Lowe was also telling the media, that the Hollywood Reporter, that 12% of its memberships are watching more than 4 movies a month. And you'd like to think that that is where the people are misusing it, the people who are using it actively would be in that group. So it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense saying that there's actually less than 2% of that 12% is actually honest. Again, I am not one of these heavily active users. I average about 3 movies a month over the past 5 months. I'm still losing MoviePass money, and I apologize, MoviePass. But there's a lot of people that are basically run to online that seem like they're just great big movie fans. And so they're watching a lot of movies, not necessarily trying to skirt the issue, just trying to take advantage of the program the way it is. So it seems that the math is weird, and it seems as either Mitch Lowe is trying to exaggerate the number of people misusing the system for the tools that they're going to implement to make things harder to use, or perhaps maybe this is just some one big gray-black market happening and we just don't know it. A lot of scammers could be on MoviePass. Who knew? So let's go over what Mitch Lowe describes as misuse. One thing, the more innocent misuse is that folks are using MoviePass to buy tickets to see 3D screenings or IMAX or Dolby or something like that. So basically, their ticket is they can't afford that ticket. They're actually authorizing the ticket. They go in and they say, "Hello, you're like $3 short." The debit card that has been the actual MoviePass card is a debit card. Let's say it's authorized for $12. The IMAX screening may be $15, and the person just pays a $3 difference. Some theaters do it, some don't, but that's a possibility. Another thing could be where someone actually is buying an earlier matinee of an IMAX screening. So let's say like some like AMC, which has cheaper pre-noon. If there are any movies screening before noon, they're cheaper than the regular movies. Buying that, but reserving a later time of another movie, so using that value, authorized value, to buy the cheaper 3D or Dolby or IMAX movie. Again, it could be many things. It could also be people just using that card to buy concessions. Maybe they had a free ticket or they bought a ticket beforehand. But again, some of these things is almost an innocent thing where it's like, oh, well, I thought I could buy any movie and I'll pay the difference. It doesn't matter whether I see it in 3D or not. It's costing a MoviePass the same amount of money. But no, it's technically a misuse. And then we get to some more nefarious things like folks are buying multiple tickets to see the same screening to cover like a group of people. Like, hey, buddies, my 5 friends, you want to come watch Avengers Infinity War with me? And they say, yeah. You guys want to come see Tully with me? They'll say, no. But so you say, all right, guys, we'll do this in a week. And that person goes to basically the movie theater and once a day buys a ticket for that future screening. Again, a big no-no. You're supposed to be only watching one movie and you're supposed to reserve a movie that you're watching later that day. But again, if you go to the kiosk or even go to an actual teller, once you're actually authorized for that amount, you can spend up to that amount. So they're doing that. And of course, the third and probably seediest allegation that Mitch Lowe has is that some people are actually accumulating multiple MoviePass cards, and they're using it to buy many tickets, on MoviePass's dime, and they're actually just reselling them for like popular screenings. And again, I have yet to see this underbelly of the dark MoviePass web where there's all these people trading tickets outside of a MoviePass. I mean, this is like they're scalping tickets outside of a movie theater. You would think this would be making news, but this tends to be a pretty big claim that Mitch Lowe and MoviePass has made in the past. So we'll have to believe that there's some credence to it. It just seems weird that someone would just have a handful of cards, of MoviePass cards, and just buy multiple tickets to the same screening. I mean, I'd understand for the friends, but to actually scalp it and to make a profit from that seems weird. And if that's the case, then hey, MoviePass has a problem because that means it has less than 2 million people using it. Because if it's one person with multiple cards, a lot of people with multiple cards. So we've already seen some of the stuff that MoviePass has been doing over the past few weeks to curb that. One, of course, is blocking repeat viewing, something that it did during the opening weekends of Avengers Infinity War. Not a very popular move, obviously, but one way to not only curb the fact that they were buying multiple tickets to the same movie over days and then just going with a big group or anything like that, but it would actually curb the fact that people would actually be going less because there's less movies to see. Most theaters, most people live in most towns, unless you live in a major metropolitan city. There are not 30, 31 movies you can see, brand new movies you can see every month in traditional screenings. So there's that. The other thing it's doing is it's locking MoviePass into subscriptions into a single smartphone. And there have been some people, this has been a recent change that they've been doing. People that used to go in on their phone and sometimes would log in on their iPad with cellular, the different devices. And of course, some people did it. They were trying to cheat MoviePass. They were giving their friends their passwords so that they would go and buy their tickets, handing over their debit card, MoviePass debit card, and working it that way. So MoviePass, everything's locked onto one phone. And if you can't, there's only a certain amount of time you can change. And if you go from one phone to another, you can't go back to the other. So they're doing that. They're locking that to a single phone. And finally, the third thing is they're having people turn in pictures of ticket stubs to go in to verify that they bought the ticket to the movie they're authorized. Because MoviePass, as we all know, they authorize the purchase, but they don't know what's being bought. They just know the amount that goes through the MasterCard debit card. So this is their way of verifying that it is. And that particular instance has actually gotten them into a bit of hot water as far as this past weekend. So basically, if you were in social media and you were following any MoviePass groups, you probably saw a lot of people just chatting up the stuff where people were actually going through and saying, hey, I just got this email from MoviePass, and they were saying that there's no way that I could have I've seen this movie, even though I sent in the proper ticket stub. And so there was like a volume of those complaints. And it turns out that sometimes they would call customer service and they'd reach them, sometimes they wouldn't. Eventually, some people have said that they got an email back saying, hey, it was a glitch, we didn't mean to do that. But the moral of that story is that you should, if you are in the plan where you actually have to submit your ticket stubs, and it's not that big of a hassle, but clearly it's a hassle if some people are being flagged. And again, this verification is being outsourced to different countries, so someone that could verify the name of the movie and also the name of the tickets. It's happened sometimes that some people complain, like with a Truth or Dare, since it's called Blumhouse Presents Truth or Dare, the ticket just says Blumhouse. And, somebody who's just new and just starting to verify it, saying, this doesn't look like Truth or Dare, and scans it. So there's different movies can have different titles what they're on the ticket stub. So you could always have these false positives come out. So always keep your ticket stubs, even if you think that you've already been cleared on them. So that's something to keep in mind. So yes, it looks like that cleared out and that was fine, but it was definitely an issue that wasn't a lot of fun for people. And finally, let's talk about good news. Let's talk about the good news. In that same Wired piece, Mitch Lowe said that by the end of May, so we're already in May, so we already have in a couple weeks, in the next few weeks, MoviePass plans to introduce plans to, first of all, family plans or friend plans, so you can go with multiple friends, as well as plans for premium screenings. And he specifically mentions 3D and IMAX, but one would also think that this also includes like Dolby, possibly the Fathom events, as some of the other one-time events, maybe even some of the Bollywood movies that some theaters have premium screenings and they don't let MoviePass go for. So, again, it's exciting to see that this is happening because this is something people have been asking. But until we get pricing, and again, pricing is not going to be this ridiculous deal that's just going to blow you away. The only reason that MoviePass would make these multiple tickets, like a family of four, would be a lot less than $10, $9.95 a person, would be if MoviePass thinks, hey, I think if it's the entire family that has to go, they're probably going to go to less screenings. They're not going to be there every day like the Joe Schmoes, the early adopters that were really abusing using the system, but going on a lot of different movies and doing it that way. Or friends, when you say, well, it's a friend pass, so you need to have, even though it could be any friend, it could be an unnamed friend. Many places have a pass where it's you plus the member plus one or two other guests. A lot of museum memberships, zoo memberships have stuff like that to encourage people to bring other people. So these plans, they could technically be a little cheaper, but probably not this amazing value that you think, unless MoviePass realizes, hey, growth is slowing. We need to do a lot to get the growth coming back up. And again, I'm not saying growth is slowing let's speculate about, what's happening with growth. Growth is slowing at MoviePass. Again, keep in mind that from the time they announced 1 million members in December to the early February announcement that there were 2 million, there were just 7 weeks have passed by. And you would think, all right, they doubled from 1 to 2 million in 7 weeks. 7 weeks later, they'd be at 3 or 4 million. No, we're now more than 12 weeks past that 2 million mark. We have yet to see the 3 million announcement, much less the 4 million, which would assume that the membership has doubled again. Well, let's assume that we're not going to double from 1 to 2, the same pace as 2 to 4. But going from 2 to 3, you would think that would be an easier step than going from 1 to 2, especially as more people start using it. It just becomes a viral and a bigger brand name. So there could be a reason why MoviePass is rolling out all these things now to get up to that 5 million members mark that they wanted to get to at the end of the year. So maybe pricing may at least be some initially good deals that may not last and maybe a limited time offer. Again, I'm just speculating here. But keep in mind for that, for those of you who are actually looking for a family plan, the moment it's offered, you may want to jump on it because one would think that just like many of the other plans, like the annual pass where you pay less than $7 a month after a processing fee, they don't last very long when they're offered. So keep an eye on that before maybe an introductory type plan pricing, before the more regular plan pricing. So all that's supposed to happen by the end of this month. So exciting stuff. So I'll be back next Monday, unless some major news breaks that I just have to make another piece. I'll be doing these MoviePass Monday pieces, so feel free to subscribe to my channel so you can actually get these in your inbox and get ready to go. I'm still going to continue to do my Tuesday series and my top 8 series later in the week, but I'm just throwing this out there as a new series, at least until MoviePass. There's no need for MoviePass information right now. There is an urgent need for MoviePass information since there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of everything else happening. So this is Moon Pies with MoviePass Monday. Yes, I called it MoviePass Monday. I'm naming it now. That's the name of the new weekly show on the Moon Pies channel. Subscribe, and I'll see you next week at the movies.